Well, we as citizens of Utah County are really counting on you three to get us to a point where we have a good election in November where we feel comfortable with it.
Okay, item number 22, Commissioner Lee.
Follow-up discussion on the Board of Canvassers meeting, and then bring it back up to the commission to look at the second half, which would be to approve and authorize a plan to accomplish a statistical analysis of the 2022 Utah County primary elections results. That we as commissioners, we want fair elections. We want honest elections. And we want to be able to verify elections as much as possible without compromising the integrity of the election, without it compromising the machines, without burdening a system that has a lot of moving parts going on there.
So that's one of the things that we talked about the discussion. That was one thing that occurred to me as I was trying to think on this. What things can we do? Because I know we do an audit, and I know those audits are open to the public so they can look over our shoulder, and many people in the public have come and participated. All of that's good, but would it be better if we had like a qualified audit firm who executed that audit for us? But I don't know if that's allowed.
And the question I would have is, now that it's been certified, does this material is it the property of the Lieutenant Governor's office? If it is, how do we work with that? Is that true, Paul?
That's a concern that I have as well. I've mentioned that to others. I don't know what type of information we can provide to an auditing firm at this point. We had the grandma appeal that was in the 4th District Court. The case was dismissed, and there was a ruling that came down. My understanding is the judge ruled that those materials were governed by the election code, that they were election return materials, and that they were not public documents.
I hate to mix grandma with what the Board of County Commissioners can do, because they're not the same. For instance, others are trying to, through grandma, reach in and see information that we have a right to see.
Yeah.
Right, but when it comes to election law, what we don't know is if the LG owns that data or if we do.
Yeah, and that's what we could pursue, but because we do have investigative authority and over the administrative operations of the department. So now that the statutory responsibilities are concluded, can we have access to those if they're Lieutenant Governor's property? That's the question I have.
And I'll remind you that, and this is part of my going through the Board of Canvassers, I asked for that information and didn't get it because I wanted to go through an analysis during that period of time. Mm-hmm. I want to address one of those just because I certified the election in which I lost that re-election. This is not an attempt to do anything of the nature of, even if it was to come back and there was other things that were going on, the certification would stand in my mind. So it just move forward because it can be litigated forever. The whole attempt behind this thing is my hope is that it brings us into some more confidence in the system.
And this is not unique to Utah County or any of the towns or cities we live in. This has been percolating and bubbling over the pot now for a lot of years. And it's not just this election or even the previous elections. There's been ballot stuffing for generations. I recognize it, and it's not lost on anybody that there's some major difficulties in the nation, and the elections is part of that difficulty, and it's only part of that. And so I appreciate why the public wants this information, wants to know and be assured that the election process is solid and is ethical and being maintained to actually reflect our individual right to express our First Amendment right, and it's not being infringed.
But what we don't know, we don't know. And so if we leave it open enough for the RFP, for those, maybe we put it in the language, with Robert, that we're looking for companies, individuals who have actually done this So they're not trying to you're not trying to, make it up, but companies that have done these kind of analyses, if they were able to, give us a proposal and say, this is what we'd need, this is the kind of statistical information that you would get out of it, I think that would be beneficial, to us to have, and not just us, but to the public. I'll revisit the motion that we're going to do an RFP, and the RFP will include professional statistical auditing abilities, however that title may turn out to be, for the specifically for the 2022 Utah County primary election results.
Okay, professional statistical auditing abilities. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Okay, first and a second, and I can support that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Passes 3-0.